Hi, I'm Linda. I'm otherwise known as Salty Seattle, and I'm a pasta artist. I share most of my pasta creations on Instagram because Instagram is such a perfect medium for just really visually arresting and delicious things. Today we're making all of the colors for rainbow pappardelle, and we go through the entire color of the rainbow, and it's not arbitrary. We continue to build on each new color. The first color of pasta dough I'm going to make is blue. I use a special flower called the butterfly pea flower, and it grows on a vine, and it's bright blue, and it's native to Southeast Asia. To make purple pasta dough, I love to use a mixture of dragon fruit and blueberry. And I like to use 00 pasta flour because the texture is supple and it has a very low gluten/protein content. For the next pasta dough color, it'll be red. And so I like to mix together beets and harissa. And beets by themselves are really pink, and so you add the harissa in there to sort of offset that pinkness and give it a little bit more of a true red. Today I'm using harissa to achieve my orange pasta dough, but you could also use paprika to achieve this color. I use turmeric to make the yellow pasta dough, and I love to use the whole turmeric root rather than the powder. For the last pasta dough, I'm gonna go with bright green, and in order to achieve that bright green, I use parsley, and I like to mix just a tiny little bit of turmeric with it. So to make the rainbow, we're gonna do rainbow stripes, and we use this cutter for the pasta machine called a fettuccine cutter to make our strips of different colors of pasta dough. So now we have our stripes placed on our base sheet, and we're gonna run it back through the pasta machine. If you don't have a pasta machine and you want to make pasta anyway, just use a rolling pin. The cool thing about pasta dough is you can re-roll it and re-roll it and re-roll it, and you're not gonna hurt it as long as it doesn't dry out too much. I think I really honed my pasta making skill though, living in Italy and just learning from grandmas and kind of learning their specific noodle that they were really passionate about. I'm making caramelle pasta, and I'm using this really gorgeous magenta dough and combining it with a yellow. It's a bright turmeric, sunny yolk colored yellow. These tools that I'm using right now are actually for, I think probably more common for like cake and cookie decorating. I always have pasta on my mind, and I'm always thinking about like tools that I could potentially repurpose and use for pasta. The filling is made of ricotta cheese and some nutmeg, salt, and a little bit of sugar. Caramelle means candies in Italian, which you probably could have guessed just by looking at their shape. Pasta is a course, and you do not serve anything with the pasta. It should be loved and appreciated and admired for itself as a course. The pasta shape we're making now is called garganelli. They have ridges on them, which sauce just loves to cling to. This is a pasta bike. You can cut squares and rectangles with this thing. If you want to serve it with something that's really hearty and substantial, then a thicker pasta can really stand up to that. Really, I would say that thinness is a matter of personal preference. I always grew up wanting to do art, and probably ultimately came down to finding the right medium, and it just feels right in my hands.